Hey, it's Brad from Coop Dreams. Do you like chickens? Turkeys? Cows? Goats? Horses? Organic gardening? Or bees? Then we've got the place for you. We're in our 7th year of homesteading. We're still learning. We're still finding some success. We're still making mistakes. And most importantly, we're still having fun.
Laugh and learn right along with us in every episode of Coop Dreams. We kid a lot about chicken math. That is, the tendency to add more chickens to your flock than originally planned. And for backyard chicken lovers, there are many aspects that come into play other than seeing and buying cute chicks for sale at the local farm supply store. We're going to get them inside, get them warm, get them food and water. Can't wait for you to meet our new chicks. Sometimes you'll lose some chickens and want to replenish the flock. Sometimes you are asked to adopt or rescue chickens. And sometimes you branch into other species like turkeys, which we've done, and ducks, which without a pond, we've not yet done, and guineas. For us, it turned out to be all of the above, with the first being the saddest, the loss of several chickens at once, including the matriarch hen of our chicken yard, Pokey. If you keep backyard chickens, you're not immune to this. We all lose chickens to predators, and we've had a really rough year this year. Last year it was raccoons, this year it's foxes. I was in getting ready to go to work, and Jackson comes running in and she says, "Oh my goodness, I think Pokey's gone." And so I come running out, and there were, I found a pile of feathers, no body, and found another pile of feathers and no body, and then started walking the woods to figure out if there was something around, or if I could find out what chickens might have been attacked. Went into the chicken yard, did a head count, was missing 4 chickens, secured the fence, secured everything in the chicken yard, and then started looking for the 4 chickens. So when we couldn't find Pokey, the first place that I thought to look was the barn. This used to be a place that she would hang out back even before we had fences. When we first started with chicken keeping, they free range the whole time, and Pokey would often come in here. She would roost in here, hang out in here, and actually in that back corner was where she was trapped for 19 days in the first year that we had her. And even though, she went through that horrific experience, she continued to come and hang out in the barn once she got healthy and once she got well. This was always a place that she found some comfort and some safety. So I looked up in the hayloft, pulled all the hay apart to make sure she wasn't trapped between bales of hay again, and she wasn't here. So, she could have been here, hiding, quiet, seen me coming, because that would be something typical of Pokey, but in my best effort, I didn't find her here in the barn. As we started looking in the woods, you could see something underneath this tree, and I came down here and found the body of a golden comet, and it was still warm, so it was a recent attack by the foxes. We must have just missed it. But this is the spot in year 1, filming our very last episode, that a fox came up and grabbed pork chop as we were standing here filming. So this is an area that we're always concerned about. And so when we saw the feathers, of course, my first thought was, let me search in these woods right here. And so found the golden comet, found a few more feathers, but still no Pokey. So as we were searching for Pokey and just walking the farm, we found a couple of feathers here, not enough that looked like anything but a chicken losing her feathers. And then walked a little bit into the woods here, and about 5 feet in found a couple more, and then 10 feet in found a couple more, and still nothing that said, attack and that she didn't escape, but enough that certainly raised some red flags for us. Searched this whole woods, flashlights at night, all night, walking up and down, and no sign of Pokey, and no sign of any more feathers. So having searched the woods all night, and this was kind of our base, we just kept kind of putting it in grids and looking for her. The next morning when I came out, her body was here. And clearly, as often as we were through here, there's no way she was there the day before. She too had been taken by a fox. And it's interesting because I think it's with the fox that this predator will take the chicken and then at night come out into the field and like feed on it. And so it's not there when we're walking the farm, and then the next morning it's laying out in the field. It's a horrific thing to find early in the morning. Have to admit, it was a really tough loss. She was the first chicken that we had in April 20th, 2015. She was given to us by Jennifer, the inventor of the chicken swing. She started us with our first 4 chickens. Just an absolutely unbelievable little hen for us. And lived life in her own kind of way. Had gone through a lot of ups and downs, not just the barn, but had hurt her leg, and she's been in and out of the infirmary a number of times, but is so resilient, always kept rebounding. And the tough thing is, the farm does not feel the same without Pokey. It was a tough loss. It was one that was really tough to talk about, really one that was tough to find the reality of it. It was a weird feeling, and we always have this sinking feeling and this sadness when we lose a chicken to a predator, but Pokey was so much a part of everything that Coop Dreams was. I mean, she was the first chicken. She was this heroic, resilient, independent, did things her own way. And so we knew this day was going to come at some point. I mean, she was 8 years old, so we kept gathering chickens and trying to keep her lineage and her genetics into our flock. We had Pokey Jr., and we lost him recently. And we know that many of these chickens are related to her. Right now, the only direct descendant that we're 100% sure of is P4. So he's got to carry on the name of Pokey. But it's a great reminder to us and it's sad that you have to keep having these reminders, but the predators are relentless. Every time you put up a barrier, they find another way around it. But it's a great reminder to constantly keep checking and constantly keep upgrading all of the predator protection you have. But it is part of homesteading. It is part of raising chickens. We all go through this, and the silver lining, the farm continues to go, and we do have some chickens that are related to Pokey. And so the farm's a little bit quieter, the farm is a little bit sadder, the farm is a little bit darker these days, but life goes on. This is pretty cool. It's adoption day at the Coop Dreams farm. Chris!
Brad!
I was going to avoid a hug because I'm all sweaty, but too bad.
Too bad.
How are you?
Good.
Yeah,
good.
How was the trip?
Good. It's good to be here.
Okay, so this is Chris. Chris is actually one of the saviors of the Coop Dreams farm, because when you came and visited us about 5-6 years ago,
yeah,
we were having problems with roosters. Edward and Pokey Jr. were attacking people, and you came and you gave us some best practices to help calm them down. Yeah. They worked. Yeah. I don't know how much you followed, but Pokey Jr. became an absolute...
He was your bud.
Oh, we'd go to coffee.
I know.
We'd hang out. And then from that, you actually, because that was so impactful for us, you came and you shared that presentation at Coop Camp. Yeah. Which was awesome.
It was fun.
Now, tell us about the Eggs and I, because that's how we first met. I started following your Facebook page.
Yeah, I started the Eggs and I, gosh, I guess it was back in 2015, no, even before then. And one afternoon I got a flyer in the mail from Tractor Supply, and they had chicks. And I said,
you hadn't had chickens at that point?
Hadn't had any chickens at that point. We lived in a subdivision, we had a nice house that you wouldn't think that somebody would have chickens in the backyard. It just wasn't done in that subdivision, but we were in a rural area. So we went and, gonna just look at chickens, and that's when I ended up coming home with 6 and going back for 6 more, and then pretty soon
How quickly was that second 6? The chicken math hits.
It hits pretty quick. It was about 10 days.
Oh, wow. Nice, so they could actually grow up together. They weren't too far different. Okay, and so then I know you're an artist and a writer as well?
Writer, I write. I started documenting my journeys with the chickens and raising them and the adventures that we had and the personalities of some of my chickens, and I wrote about that every day, talked about different chicken topics, and people started following. And
did you have any idea it was going to explode the way it
Never.
did? That's how I actually started following, because it was such awesome writing. I mean, we actually could see and feel. Like, I think I followed you a little bit before Vinny started his run for presidency.
Vinny ran for president, that's right. You know, I've had as many as 40, and now, you know, as few as 3. When I moved after my husband died, I moved to a small cottage in the country, and had a small coop, and I brought the 3 with me that I had hatched from eggs. And they've lived with me ever since for the last 4.5 years, or 5 years they've been living with me on.
So up to 40.
Yeah. Yeah, I got out of control for a while.
It always does. So now you're at a place, life is changing.
Yes.
You're moving.
I'm moving.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Can't have chickens.
No chickens.
So you reached out to us,
I did.
which is awesome. Absolutely love it. So tell me about the chickens that we're adopting, a little bit about their backstory.
Well, today I have brought Brad, who's actually named after a rugby player in England.
Oh, okay, right. All right.
He was named by a friend of mine. And then I also have Sophia, who is my they're Bantam Cochins. And then we were going to bring Pete too, but we had an incident this morning where when we were loading the chickens, Pete got loose and he took off into the woods. We chased him for about an hour down into a ravine, and then he disappeared, and we couldn't catch up with him. So unfortunately, Pete's not with us today.
Okay.
But we have Brad and Sophia. Brad is the head rooster in charge, of course.
Like, he's got a personality. Is he going to take this place over too, or is he just going to be?
No, he'll be just
Okay.
with, he and Sophia are buds.
Okay.
And Sophia has her own little side business in the chicken world. She grows chicken marijuana.
Okay. Okay, I'll have to check state laws, because you're from a different state.
From a different
have
state.
to make sure that her business can survive here.
Yeah. You're in Illinois, though, right?
Right.
So I think you're legal in Illinois.
Okay.
Sophia's probably in good shape.
I'll check. She probably has all the paperwork and licensing already done.
That's just part of one of the backstories, that Sophia has this pharmacy, and that she has all the local animals working for her, and, you know, selling her wares. But I don't even know how that story got started, but the readers have enjoyed it.
Good. What I figured I'd do is I'd show you the area where we're going to keep them while they're just in quarantine for a bit, and then show you the plan for their eventual home, and see if you've got any, you know them. You know, chickens are quirky. See if you've got anything that you spot that says that won't work. Just so I know, certain bedtime curfew for them?
No. They usually go to bed. Well, last night I went to, you know, trap them in the roost box so I could get them out this morning, and it was fairly dark, and they heard me come out, and they all got out of bed. So they just go to bed usually at dusk.
Okay.
Chicken
containment unit. Yeah. That is pretty clever.
I wanted them to have plenty of air, and I didn't want to just put a lid on the box. So
He's a bantam?
Yeah.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
Oh, he's beautiful.
He's a good boy. He used to be the one that followed me all over the yard and was really, really friendly and outgoing, and always came to find me. And since they've spent more time in a different kind of run where I didn't get to, you know, spend as much time with them because of the way the run's constructed, and they weren't able to free range because we had hawks too. So.
Well, I'll take him for coffee, and we'll see if he gets back to that little cuddly guy. You want me to carry it? You okay?
I got it.
Okay. All right. We're right back here.
And they're making comments along the way, of course.
Yes, and those, when you hear those comments, because after a while you get this, you kind of understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
Does that become a story? You start seeing it?
Yeah. After a while, you can tell when you're being scolded or.
So we've got this is kind of one of our grow out pens.
Oh, perfect.
And so we keep it close to the house so that we're able to check on them often. I've got water and feed ready, so if you want to go ahead and put them in, I'll get the water and feed.
Okay, so here we go.
How can I help?
There's Brad.
Hey, buddy. Hi, bud.
He's got some big old spurs on him now.
Yeah. What do you do with those? Do you do anything?
I don't.
I haven't either.
I just leave them.
I've clipped them a couple times. I tried the potato thing one time, didn't work.
Oh yeah, I've seen that on Facebook several times or YouTube. Yeah, he's a good boy, and she's a good girl. She doesn't really make a lot of noise, no egg song. She is still laying, not very often. She's not very consistent, but she's 5 or 6 years old now.
Okay, and he is?
Same age. They were from the same clutch of my chicken Pippa. She was a blue Bantam Cochin, and we hatched, I think, 5 eggs, and we ended up with 4, and I lost 1 when I moved the first time, and then I had these 3 left.
Yeah, so Pete was part of the same?
Pete was part of the same, yep. Hatched in a Brinsea incubator.
Love them, love them. So I'll keep, the offers open. If Pete winds up coming back to the coop, you're more than welcome to bring him here. So open, that's nesting box. There's little roosting bars on the floor.
Okay.
So here's where they'll be for quarantine.
All right.
There you go, girl. There you go, girl.
Yeah, her back's a little messed up, living with 2 roosters.
Let me go get the water and the feed.
What do you think, guys? Grass.
What feed do you use?
Just the
layer feed?
Layer feed, yeah. Okay. But they'll eat any feed, I think. They're just going to be so happy to be outside in the grass because their run had no grass left in it.
Well, the nice thing about this coop is after a couple days they'll go through all that grass.
And you can just move it over.
And I can just move it. I kind of spin it like it's a clock.
Yeah.
So you kind of see the last batch was over here.
Sure.
So this is Grubley's crumble feed. It's their new
like
crumble. There you go.
They haven't had breakfast, so they'll probably be interested.
And after a long drive, there's nothing better than a drink. And I have to put it up on this little sled here because it prevents them from getting up on top and pooping in it. If I just put it down on the ground, they seem to poop a lot in it.
They seem pretty calm.
Well,
this is pretty nice, huh, guys?
Is she normally by him like that, or do you think that's because of?
No, they were all very close. Pete was probably closer to Sophia just because he never left her side. He was like Velcroed to her.
Yeah.
Brad was always in charge of, the run and everything, and was always out protecting things and being roostery. So he wasn't with Sophia all the time like Pete was, but they still are good buds.
On top of this rescue adoption, we had just made the jump to get guineas. They were great at tick control, were crazy fun to watch, and apparently were great guard birds, which we sorely needed. I had ordered 6 Guinea Keets from Hoover's Hatchery, and they said it's easier for them to ship 15. So I made sure I explained to Jackster how I was not to blame for so many guineas arriving in the mail. So we've heard from a couple people. Kyle from Friday Night Introverts Club does Keats and guineas, and Nicole from Heritage Acres Market, who came and visited the farm, talked about guineas. Great tick control, very loud, and they help alert for predators. So we have jumped into the guinea mix. These are from Hoover's Hatchery. They were hatched 2 days ago, so they're 2 days old. We've got them set up in the brooder inside the garage, but it's such a super warm day out, so we thought we'd let them see what the outdoors is like. They're tiny, but they're 2 days old, so they've all learned to drink and eat. They were actually really fast in picking up where the water is and how to eat. I will tell you, they like to eat pecking it off the ground more than they like to eat out of the feeder. When I first let them out and taught them how to drink, they kept going over like they were swimming in the water. And every time we've had chicks, they've not been this small. So I put little pebbles in there so they could get out and nobody would drown. They've got NPIP clearance that they are all healthy, and they are assorted guineas. I think they sell 4 different kinds of guineas, but I don't know which ones they are, but we'll find out. This is a Grubley's Little Pecks. It's a starter grower feed, and from what I've read, I think that guineas take the same kind of protein content. So these are either pearl, white, lavender, or royal purple guineas from Hoover's Hatchery. It's assorted, so I hope we get a little of each. It'd be kind of cool to have all 4. They're cute when they're this age. Hard to believe that they're going to grow up to be guineas. It's crazy. When they get old, it looks like they're wearing a mask. But my goodness, they are so small.
To watch episodes on the go, be sure to download the Coop Dreams app. And for even more fun, like Coop Dreams on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and visit our website at www.coopdreams.tv.
And noisy? Yeah, we learned right away what that was all about. And my friend at the post office confirmed that with a text saying, "Your chicks are here and they are loud. Please come and get them." You've got a beautiful voice.